Hello and welcome back to this, our final lesson in the Learn Tarot course. In this lesson, we're not going to be dealing with reading techniques. We're going to be dealing with a couple of meditation techniques. There's a very important reason for this. For me, this is the key lesson. Everything else that's come before has given you the tools and the basic techniques that you'll need to read the cards. In this lesson, we take our first steps to go deeper. And for me, if you're going to become an adept tarot reader or a tarot reader that is working with conviction and comes over to the person that you're reading for with conviction, the cards have to be something personal. For me, you have to have lived each of these 78 images. Now, I began reading when I was 13. That process didn't happen for me until I was 38. And actually, as a result of me going through this process, I created one of my published decks. The Sun Tarot, which is published by Schiffer Books, came out of that process. That was when the tarot became personal for me. To create that deck, it was, some of you may already know, it was a deck that was specifically themed around the experience of gay men, and it was created specifically for gay men. To create that deck, I had to know what it looked like for a gay man to feature in each of these tarot images. To do that, I had to step into those images and place myself in there. That was the only way that I could find out how it was going to look. I did that through my imagination. And that's what we're going to do today. This is where we use the tarot to tap into the power of the imagination. It's where we make these cards personal to us, and it's where we step into each individual image and experience it on a subjective level. So to illustrate that point, I'm going to go back to some of my favourite children's literature. I'm sure a lot of you, like me, will have grown up with the Chronicles of Narnia. You may recognise this illustration. It's from one of my favourites of the cycle of books, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. Lucy and Edmund, having visited Narnia twice, find themselves spending the summer holidays with their most loathed uncle and aunt, and with their most hated cousin. Sat in the spare bedroom one day and longing to return to Narnia, they're looking at a picture on the wall of a ship and actually discussing how Narnian they think that ship looks. They're also talking about how they wish they could get there. And this is an instance of be very careful what you wish for, because you might get it, because the picture comes to life. The picture starts to grow in front of them so much that it engulfs the room and it engulfs them. The picture becomes their gateway into Narnia. And actually what then follows is one of the greatest adventures in the whole cycle of 7 books. It's very, very beautiful. If you haven't read The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, do read it. It's a wonderful escapist fantasy with some fabulous messages behind it as well. Also, how many of us watched this incredible film when we were children? I can still watch this today and love it as much as I did when I first saw it when I was about 3 or 4. Mary Poppins, based on a great book. My favourite scene in the whole film, when Mary Poppins takes the children out and they come across a street artist who's created a number of scenes on the flagstones. She decides they're going to take a very special excursion, and through her magic, they jump into one of the street art pieces and they explore the kingdom that they've jumped into. That's what we're going to do today with the cards. We're going to step into these cards and we're going to experience them. To do that, we have to suspend disbelief. And in a way, we kind of have to adopt that childlike imagination that we had when we watched Mary Poppins, when we first read The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. let's look at some of these cards that I've pulled out. The Wheel of Fortune. How can we really know and feel what this experience is like until we've actually jumped onto the wheel and we've experienced its rise like the Hermanubis, we've sat at the top like the Sphinx, and we've slithered down like the snake. Justice. To really understand her, we have to sit at the foot of the throne. We have to have a conversation with her. We have to know what she's weighing in the scales that concerns us. The Ace of Pentacles. We talk about it being a divine gift handed down from heaven. What happens if we step into the garden? We actually reach up and we allow the hand to place that pentacle in ours. Like all coins, it's double-sided. We can see the front, we can see the pentacle engraved on it. What's engraved on the back for us? Maybe there's a special message on there. Maybe there's a symbol or an emblem that has personal meaning to us. Our imagination can unlock that. The Queen of Pentacles. How can we really know her until we've actually sat protected at the foot of her throne? How can we know what it feels like to sort of have that green cloak wrapped round us for warmth and protection and for nurture? And on a more sober note, with the Five of Swords, what happens if we step in here? If we become that arrogant victor? What does it feel like when we actually have to sit and listen to a victim impact statement from those two people that we've vanquished? If we step into this image and we become one of those two defeated people, what do we want to say to that man in green and red? And actually, if we look closely at his face, is he somebody we know? Who is he? So that's the process that we're going to embark on today. The card I've selected is the Eight of Cups. So relax for a moment, clear your head, and I'm going to take you on a guided meditation where we're going to step into the card, and like with the picture frame in the bedroom with the Voyage of the Dawn Treader, this card is going to get bigger, it's going to fill our surroundings, and then we're going to step into the scene and take that journey. Okay, so here we are. In reality, you're sat at home, you're watching this on your computer screen, your tablet, your phone, whatever screen you're sat at. I'm actually sat behind my camera, and the camera is pointing at the reading table, and we have the Eight of Cups standing against a stack of books. That's the reality of where we are. We're going to suspend that reality now. So what I want you to do is take a couple of moments to get yourself relaxed and comfortable. If you can, clear your head of any extraneous thoughts. Give yourself some time and space where you're not going to be disturbed. Close the doors, switch your phone off. Relax. Find yourself in a comfortable seated posture. Flex your shoulders to get any stress or tension out of them. Do the same with your neck. And I want you to consciously begin to reduce the speed of your breathing. Breathe more deeply. Breathe from your diaphragm. Breathe more slowly. And we're looking at the screen at the Eight of Cups. Now, take a few moments to gaze into the image and allow the image to imprint itself on your brain, on your imagination. The greyish blue of the sky, the yellow of the waning moon, the muted moonlit greens of the landscape, the cups, the man with his staff in his red cloak. Gaze into the image and allow that image to imprint itself on your memory. When you've done that, I want you to close your eyes and see the card in your mind's eye, just as you've seen it on the screen. But now, in your mind's eye, watch the background behind the card, the stack of books, the red cloth, my room. Watch those begin to go dark. But the only thing that stays lit is the card, to the point where the card is floating in darkness and looks like a window surrounded by a white window frame. Now, the window is getting larger. Are you walking towards it? Is it growing? Who knows? It's becoming greater. The window is actually becoming so great that you're now dwarfed by it. The blackness of the background is beginning to disappear. The white frame is expanding to the left and to the right. It's expanded so high above and around you that the window frame begins to disappear. All you can see now is the scene. The only last thing that's visible to you is the foot of the frame. And what I invite you to do now is step over that frame in your imagination and step into the scene. You're in a moonlit landscape. Ahead of you is somebody with a staff in a red cloak walking away. Just before you is a stack of 8 cups. The only light comes from a golden waning moon. How do you feel about being in that place? Can you hear anything? What are the sounds going on around you at night? If you dare, pick up one of the cups from the top of the stack. What's in the cup? Are you going to taste it? Maybe it's liquid. Maybe it's not. Maybe there's actually an object in the cup. If there is, take it out and put it in the palm of your hand. What is it? How do you feel about disturbing that pile of cups? Is it yours to disturb? Is it somebody else's? Now, maybe you want to follow the man in red. Maybe you have questions that you need to ask him. How do you feel about that? Are you going to call out to him and ask him to stop? If you did, what's he going to say? We're assuming it's he, maybe it's a she. What are they going to say? Does that person want to talk to you? Are they running away from you as much as they're running away from the cups? Or are they going to break their journey for a while and answer some of your questions? If you're going to talk to that person, there's a gulf between you and them that you have to cross. Look behind the cups. The land ends just beyond the cups, and there is a channel of water. I want you to go to the edge in your imagination of the land and look at that channel. How wide is it? How deep is it? Can you jump across? Can you step across? Or will you have to swim across? Does stepping over that channel or jumping over that channel or swimming across that channel frighten you in any way? Or is it not an issue? If you need help to get across that channel, who are you going to ask? What happens if I can't get across and that person leaves me behind? So, what happens if I can't get across? Will he or she turn back and come back for me? Or are they prepared to stand on the other side and hold that conversation as we call out to each other? Okay. The person in red is about to turn round in your imagination. I want you to look at their face. Who is it? Who are you talking to? Is it someone you know? Is it someone you don't know? Is it yourself? How did you feel when they turned round and you recognised them or didn't recognise them? Ask your questions. Maybe you need to know why they're walking away. Maybe you need to ask them why they're leaving you behind. Maybe you need to ask them why they're leaving the cups behind. Do you want to give them the object that was in the cup? Maybe they don't want to take it. A key question: where are they travelling to? And what are they walking away from? What happens when the moon sets and the sun rises? Where will the person in red be? Where will you be? How do you feel about the moon setting? So many questions to ask. These are just a few. But for now, we're going to close the meditation. In your mind's eye, I want you to turn back around towards the window and your entrance into this scene. Turn your back slowly to the cups. And if you look ahead of you, you'll see a slight distance away the frame of the card and the room that you began your journey in. How do you feel about leaving this scene and walking back into reality? How do you feel once you've stepped out of the card and you turn back round, the window is closed, the darkness around the card begins to illuminate again, and you're back in your room and you're back faced with reality? The card from my deck stood up against a stack of books on my tarot table with its red cloth. Just take a little bit of time to reground yourself, to collect your feelings, to collect your thoughts. If it helps, one last thing in your mind's eye. What you gained through this imaginary journey, you may not be able to unpack straight away. Take your tarot box, the box that you keep your cards in. Visualize the insights, the memories, the words, the conversations that you had through this imaginary journey. Visualize them in the palm of your hand as a gold coin. Place the coin in your tarot box next to your deck. You can unpack that when you're ready. You can take it out and you can begin to unpack the memories of this journey. You may want to deal with them now. You may want to deal with them later. But for now, close your eyes again for a moment and bring your journey to an end. And there we are. That is a simple visual guided meditation through the Eight of Cups. What I hope I've shown you through this is that to understand the scenes on these cards, to understand the characters in these cards, to really live them experientially, we not only need to be able to relate our own experiences to them and also the experiences of the people that we're reading for. We need to be able to see them as living, breathing, archetypal beings. In a way, that's what they are. This is a card with a drawn image on it. But actually, when Pamela Coleman Smith drew this image, she was actually depicting a higher reality. This is an archetypal reality for all of us. With the Eight of Cups, it's that transcendent experience of letting go, walking away. That takes many guises in our life. This person can be many people in our life. The power of the imagination is that it allows us to step into the image, suspend disbelief, and assume that this is a real, moving, living tableau. Having a conversation with this person in our mind's eye can be a very powerful experience. That's when the archetypes connect into our own experience and begin to live. If you found this process helpful, I suggest over the course of the coming year that you attempt to do this with every card in the deck. I found by doing this, the cards became much more personal. My ability to connect the cards to my experience became heightened. And also, how can I put this into words? I learnt that imagery and symbol are more than just art. They are actually experiential. Drawings like this mirror reality. So to treat a card like this as a mirror, a portal, or a gateway is a very powerful and healing experience. That for me is the cards as a meditation. That for me is what makes the tarot such a powerful divinatory tool. We function and we live through symbols. I was told once that humankind, we as humankind, are creatures, are animals that symbolize. We have language. Language is symbol. That's what sets us apart from the animal kingdom, is that our ability to symbolize and to focus reality through symbols is much more advanced. That's why we have language. That's why we can communicate on a rich, varied and deep level. Language is one type of symbol. Art and imagery is another type of symbol. Symbols are living, breathing realities. Hence, this may only be a piece of card, but actually on another level, it's a living, breathing, dynamic, moving scenario. In choosing to use our imaginations to step into these images, we experience that reality. That imaginative experience then begins to connect with our real life experience. And through that connection, we understand ourselves better. So, that for me is the tarot as a meditation. I hope you found that helpful. I hope that in sharing this exercise with you, you can begin a similarly exciting journey to the one that I've been pursuing since the age of 38 for the last 15 years. I can only ultimately speak for myself, but actually working with the cards like this has enriched my reading capability beyond belief. And it's certainly helped my ability to empathise with the people that I'm reading for. I hope that that gives you the same gifts that it's given me. I hope it gives you the same blessings that it's given me. And with the end of this meditation, we've come to the end of our course. Do bear with me. This might be the final lesson, but it's not actually the final video. In the next and final video, I'm just going to be rounding up the course and also giving you pointers for further reading and also acknowledging the authors and the texts that I've referred to as I've put this course together. So thank you so much for watching. Do join me for the next video, and all I can say is, as we draw this final lesson to a close, I hope that I've been able to enrich your journey with the tarot, and I hope it continues and grows and gives you as much joy as my tarot journey has given me. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this lesson and found it helpful, please hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel to find out when I share new videos or go live. You can also find me on Instagram at Chris Butler Artist, on Twitter at Butler Tarot, and on Facebook at The Sacred Tarot. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.